This is it right here.
Combining a team of reporters, columnists, and commentators.
Don't you ever talk about me!
Are you serious?
Jack Ebling has brought thought-provoking discussion.
What are you doing?
That's a damn coaching mistake!
Opinion.
The customer is the one who decides when the future gets here.
Oh, no!
The ship is on fire!
You have to check the report.
Are you kidding me?
That game was fixed.
And overall infotainment.
I'll take Jim Harbaugh.
What has he done?
Crazy Cooter coming at you!
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
Thanks, big fella.
Don't you ever come back here again!
No arguments. Those are called ass tunes.
So buckle up.
You talking to me?
It's time for The Drive with Jack Ebling.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
There you go. Great afternoon, Mid-Michigan and beyond, and welcome to The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer today, Alex Heward, filling in for Boston Rob, who will be back tomorrow. And we'll be in studio again tomorrow. You can watch us on Facebook, or you can watch us on YouTube, I should say. And then we will be gone to Chicago Wednesday and Thursday for Big Ten football media days, and back here on Friday. So much to talk about on a warm, wet Monday afternoon here in Greater Lansing. We'll talk a little bit more about the Tigers later and where they are. 6 below 500 and 6 out of first place. We're actually going to have Denny McLain on with us a little bit later in the show. And we're going to talk with Desmond Ferguson. Of course, is Mr. Moneyball, but we want to welcome in a guy who many of you saw at Moneyball and you watched for 4 seasons with the Michigan State Spartans. Carson Cooper joins us. Coop, how are you?
Doing good, Jack. Doing good. Staying busy.
How's your summer been?
It's been, it's been not too bad. My first actual week of summer felt like last week when I got back and after summer league and everything. But
right.
It's been busy. Yeah, for sure.
Was summer league what you expected, what you thought it would be?
Yeah, it's pretty much what I thought it would be. Ended up, I think for me it was a cooler opportunity when I was really out there and
right.
and putting on the Memphis uniform and everything. I thought that was surreal, but it was what I expected. I mean, I didn't expect to get tired of Vegas within the first 2 days. So the last, the next 10 days felt like pretty long, but it was a fun time.
I'm guessing that players who are trying to impress and get roster spots, etc., are not up all night in the casinos doing what tourists do. What is Vegas like when you're on a strict training regimen?
Yeah, I mean, it's you're really not too busy because the practices are pretty limited, and the games, obviously, on game days you're just having the games. So yeah, you do have a lot of free time. I mean, it's you're definitely not hitting clubs and staying up late and all that. It is tempting because you're right there in the hotel casinos and everything, and there's always stuff to do in Vegas, obviously, as everyone knows. But a lot of it was just in a hotel room. I'd bring my gaming system and just kind of relax and stay busy that way. Yeah, it's find some nice dinner spots and stuff with my fiance, and that was what kept me busy.
And probably too hot to do much outside anyway, right?
Yeah, no, we went out by the pool for about probably an hour the first day we got there because we had some free time, and I felt like I got burnt within the first 30 minutes. So I was like, I'm not going to be showing up to practice burnt. So I ended up not getting too much sun, but it was pretty hot. Yeah, 108 or something the whole time.
You mentioned being with your fiance there. That's always a good choice, how to use your time. But for players who did not have that opportunity, they hang out together, or are they saying, well, it's kind of my competition here? Players keep to themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone's kind of, in their own world, especially because, when you're out there, for the guys that didn't get drafted and everything, I mean, you're still trying to grind for a job and grind for looks and stuff. So it's like you try to. I mean, we had a good group with us out there this time. We had a really good group with a lot of vets, low key, that were on the team last year. So that was nice. But there were some teams. I mean, I remember sitting there watching Jackson's game and Frankie's game and stuff, and it's like they're not all like that. Like it's dog eat dog, and a lot of these teams a lot of the guys are all pretty selfish, trying to get their own thing. But I felt like we had a different squad.
And that's kind of the Michigan State way, I think. Even you see Moneyball now, how many guys stick around to cheer on or support their buds who are on the team. But I want to go back to, let's say, June 1st, okay, leading up to the draft, say the 3 weeks or so before the draft. What was that like for you? What kind of communication were you getting? Did you have an idea Memphis was interested?
Yeah, so Memphis was one of those teams when I was going through the pre-draft process that was they were really into me. I think early. They were the first team that called my agent to get a workout in, so I ended up getting a pre-draft workout in with them even before the combine. So like it was late April when I got out to Memphis for the first time, and I felt like I obviously played well because they invited me back for a second workout later in the process. I think a week before the draft, they had me back for a second one. So they were definitely interested the whole time. I ended up doing about 14 NBA workouts in the off season. So I was traveling a lot. Yeah, from like May to June, you're pretty much on the plane going back and forth a lot. So I think Memphis and the Lakers. I had 2 workouts with the Lakers, so those are two of my main teams that I was looking at, especially in the second round. I think something could have happened, but yeah.
Do you know anyone who had more workouts than that? That seems like an awful lot.
Yeah, no, there was a couple guys that were in some workouts, especially at the end, that they were up in the 16, 17, 18 range.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think one guy, I think it was a Big Ten guy because we were talking or something in Vegas. I forgot who it was, but he said he did 20. So that's 2/3 of the league right there.
Yeah, right.
in 2 months or a month and a half. Like, so you're going from team to team, and you're not getting much time to sit at home and relax.
So now the draft comes. It's a 2-night process, and you had a pretty good idea that if you were going to get picked, it would be on night 2. But sometimes, in fact, a lot of times, and see this in the NFL too, Carson, guys who don't get picked actually have it better because then they can pick the best situation for them instead of just going and being a number there. So late in the second round, with every team, did you say, well, I had this kind of workout there, I'd fit there, I wouldn't fit here? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I feel like even I didn't really know what goes on in draft night until obviously this year,
right?
Because I never really followed it for real.
Yeah.
But yeah, this week, I mean, you going into it, like you really do know exactly what like your options are. Like at least for me, because my agent was so good and he understood like, hey, you got these 3 teams that have been texting you that they might take you in their late second round pick, like. There's stuff like that. So I think Memphis had. I don't think they had no. They did have a late second round pick. They had, I don't know, 40 or 50 or something, and then
nothing after that.
And then nothing after that. So I think we could have thought that I maybe I get picked there, and then I think the Lakers ended up trading for pick 54 or something. So I thought something could happen there. So you pretty much know there's like about 2 teams that really want you and are interested, and you kind of sit up in your seat a little bit when they get a little closer to pick time. But I definitely feel like having the opportunity to kind of go undrafted and talk around to about different scenarios and situations, or it can be beneficial. And my agents had a lot of guys that have became very successful by going undrafted. And yeah, he's excited about hopefully the future just as much as I am.
So you've mentioned your agent a couple times. You might as well give him a shout out, a free plug. Who is he, and how'd you find him?
Yeah, shout out my agent Jason Rich and Jason Glushon. I met him through Coach Izzo because I kind of wanted to get a good agent after the season this year that had a good reputation, and getting a recommendation from Coach definitely puts him in a good spot, because if Izzo likes you and respects you, then he's gonna be, you got to be a good person. So he was someone that Coach recommended in the off season this year, and we kind of hit it off when we started talking on phone calls and stuff. And he was here when Joey was here, and he represents Joey and his brother. And, so he had some sort of Michigan State connection, and and Joey says he loves him, and he still loves him, and Joey isn't playing anymore, and he still talks to him. So it's a really cool guy, and really great agency I'm with. So I'm grateful for them for helping me out.
So when you think that, it could be Memphis and it could be the Lakers, and I don't know what your favorite team was growing up, but at that point, do you care about those things, or do you just want the situation that might be the best for you?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want the best situation. I think for me, it's, as a Michigan guy, I'm naturally thinking well, Memphis is a little closer, LA is pretty far away, and all that stuff. So you do naturally think about it. But I think a good situation is kind of tops everything. It tops the money and all that. There's more to everything. So I think that, where I'm at is the best situation.
And what seems like the best situation can change in a hurry. Milwaukee, for one, trading Giannis Antetokounmpo, and there are other teams that have moved bigs leading up to the draft, and you might not think there's an opening, and suddenly there is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's the business side of things that I've got to kind of start getting used to a little bit more. I mean, college is getting that way a little bit, but this is that to the next level. So, I mean, you gotta. That's part of the pressure of being around pros and being in a program like that. There's that extra pressure, and there's that unknown factor. So,
we're talking with the former Michigan State big Carson Cooper, and now starting on his NBA journey. Coop, the draft ends, and then it's free agent scramble time. Phones start ringing all over the country and beyond. How long did it take for Memphis to contact you, or did they do that before the draft ended?
Yeah, so they reached out with their offer, with their agreement before the round 2 even started.
Oh,
so I knew I had. So I knew. Oh. So actually, I mean, yeah. They reached out before the draft even happened, just so they could have it on the table and possibly have me accept before having to go through the whole draft process. So we kind of knew that was our new worst option, or not worst option, but it was our new minimum option. So we felt. Right. I felt a lot of pressure kind of lift off my shoulders a little bit, just knowing that was we did have something solid before, the second round started. So I wasn't just going through the second round thinking I've got to be drafted or I've got to hear something by now or something like that. So there was definitely some weight lifted off my shoulders when they reached out. But when I didn't hear my name called the second round, there was we made a lot of calls to Memphis and was happy to accept their agreement and accept the offer and everything. It was cool.
So you know where the floor is, and they know that you have an interest, but they're probably also saying, somebody here in the 50s could take Coop and he won't be there for us. So nobody knows exactly what's going on, right?
Yeah. I think they know because, I mean, word gets around. Word gets around. So I think they knew that Toronto and LA were my other two big options. So they their president called me and was joking with me a little bit just because when they saw that the Lakers traded for a late second-round pick, they got a little nervous because they think that they might lose me to them and everything. But yeah, they hear everything and they know what could happen or not. Yeah.
So you had plenty of opportunities to go against high-level competition. We know that you bumped heads. Well, your heads weren't at quite the same level. Zach Edey when he was at Purdue. But now you're playing in Summer League. Was there a moment where you smiled and you said, I know I can do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just I think it honestly has started in the pre-draft process. I think when I got to those workouts and I just knew like I had freedom and I knew that it was like there was no pressure on me to perform. Like I just started playing at a different level that I didn't even know like I really could play at. Like I mean, I was shooting. I mean, shit. I mean, I think like if people had videos of my workouts, they'd be wondering what the heck I was doing for 4 years in Michigan State. Just the way I was shooting it and the way I was moving and everything.
I saw you shoot it at Moneyball. I know you could shoot it.
Yeah. So, I think that's where it all kind of happened. All kind of started. But then, yeah, definitely, when even probably playing against Mara in that first game in Utah for Summer League, I think just kind of realizing, all right, well, this is a guy that got picked early in the first round, and I feel like I'm better than him and all this. So it's just felt like a college game out there. It just felt like I felt like it slowed down a little bit.
So what about the immediate future now? What's next?
Yeah, I mean, just excited to get down to Memphis and just continue to kind of develop that connection with those guys down there and get to know everybody and get settled in and just see what happens. I think right now we're just waiting for kind of training camp to get going and doing a lot of wedding planning over here, non-basketball wise, just doing a lot of wedding planning and trying to move all the stuff out of the apartment and get settled in to some boxes and probably gonna live at home for a little bit when the apartment lease is up. But yeah, so a lot of stuff going on.
So what's tougher, Coop? Playing post defense against the 7-2 guy or planning the wedding?
I don't know. If you ask my fiance, she'll probably say it's the hardest thing she's had to do in a while because there's just so much logistics. I didn't even know there was this many logistics going into wedding planning until we got here, and now it's been tough. But that's it's part of the bittersweet moment. When you get it all done, you can relax and enjoy it. So
when and where is the big day?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't picked a venue or anything. It'll be in Michigan somewhere, but we're definitely just my family lives here, her family lives here, and makes sense. And we're thinking probably 2 years, around this time, 2 years in the future. Just give us some time to settle in and save some money for the venues and see what's happening.
Well, while we're playing the dating game, you want to tell us where you met?
Yeah, I mean, we met here at State end of my freshman year. Just had mutual friends and started reaching out, started texting through social media, and then just one thing led to another.
When she met you, did she know that you were a basketball player, that you were going to be a key part of Spartan championship teams?
Yeah, she knew. She knew. I think, definitely like standing out and being tall was probably something that kind of stood out a little bit. But she knew. But she, once she kind of knew that, I was all in with her, and it was, there was that commitment. She was feeling good about everything.
How tall is she?
She's like 5'9".
Okay. So you're not going to be having little point guards running around, right? They're going to be.
No, we'll have hopefully have some future footers.
All right. As you look back on your career here, and you got a great opportunity when Tom Izzo added you to the program. He told me, he said, I really like this guy. I think this guy's going to be good, but I don't think it's going to be right away. and you surprised him. You accelerated that learning curve to the point where he couldn't redshirt you and had to play you. And then as you look back on all the highlights of your career, what one game stands out to you? If you could only watch one game from your college career, what would it be?
That's a good question.
So many to choose from, right?
Yeah, I always go back to. I'll rephrase your question. I'll pick
Good.
two because on two opposite sides of the career, because I think that the one my freshman year that really stands out is like that. It wasn't Marquette. It was the one my freshman year. Marquette. There was. I'm drawing a blank here. Who we played? In
Alex, he's had
the
so many big games he can't remember them all. They just kind of. Oh.
Yeah, I think it was. Oh, it was USC.
Oh, okay.
USC my freshman year.
Yeah,
yep. That was my like kind of big standout. That was when I first started to get big minutes and really play well.
Right.
So that one I can go back and watch and enjoy watching because as a freshman that was my first big game I think I really had. But for this year, I think for me it has to be the Purdue game. I think just kind of that full circle moment for us and I played really well that game, and I think the history behind that game and what we did, it doesn't get any better than that. Right,
and Michigan State had not won at Purdue in football or men's basketball, Coop, since 2014. So that was a long time in coming, no question about that. You've had the experience of coming into a program and then going to Moneyball and all those kinds of things, and you were there again last week, right? Everyone said, hey, Coop's here. So they saw you there. When you see it, and not from playing in it, but you see the new guys and what they're dealing with, Anton Bonk and Ethan Taylor and the other bigs, the forwards that are there too, Julius Avent and company. Have you had one word of advice for them or a couple words about what they're going to be in for this season? What would you tell them?
Yeah, for sure. It's for me, it's really simple, and it's just that, coming in your first summer, it's going to be one of the hardest things you've ever done, no matter if you're in Bonk's situation where it's your senior year or if you're Ethan Taylor.
Yeah.
Because that first year at Michigan State, it's going to be tough. But if you really, just trust the coaches and continue to just be humble and understand that you aren't entitled to anything, then it'll all kind of work itself out in the end, especially at the end of the year when, all the stuff that was hard and trying to learn the offense and trying to learn the defense and taking the crap from the coaches and all that early on. If you listen and do what they say, it'll be beneficial in the future.
Is that tougher physically or mentally?
Yeah, I think it's tough. But yeah, I do think it is mental. I think it's more mental just because, they definitely wouldn't have you there if they didn't think that you could do the stuff that they want you to do. So, you got to trust yourself physically, but also it's the mental part in where you're getting ripped by coach, and instead of thinking I'm getting picked on or why is he yelling at me, you got to think of, oh, okay, maybe he's right, or maybe I didn't do that right, or something like that, instead of kind of flipping it around, because it can be tough in the moment, but in the long run, it'll be beneficial.
He always says that he doesn't mind when players come back at him, but they better be right. Do you remember one time where he saw something and he was wrong and you had to correct him?
There's been a couple times. The one thing about Coach is if he's saying it, he knows he's right. And if it's about basketball, then he probably really is right.
Yeah.
So it's tough to, Coach says, bring the goods.
Right.
So it's tough to really, disagree with him on basketball stuff because he knows that the goods are on the film. He can pull up any film and prove me wrong. But there's definitely been some disagreements. Just I think more off the court, like non-basketball stuff than basketball stuff, but I can't remember any off the top of my head.
So we talk about Michigan State basketball, not just for the victories and the great moments, but the fact that so many players come back for grind week, and there's a brotherhood, and there's a chemistry and camaraderie that you just don't find a lot of places. You could have been at Memphis with Jaren Jackson Jr., right? And then he got shipped out to Utah, so now that's Jax's concern. And Memphis also, one of the greatest players in Grizzlies history was Zach Randolph. So what is it about Michigan State bigs that seem to fit the Grizzlies?
Yeah, I think they definitely know. They definitely know who they like because when I was on my second workout with them, we met with the president just so they could kind of get me in a room with them and talk to him and try to feel me out a little bit. And I asked them, I said, you guys must like Michigan State bigs if you're, you picked two recently and now you got me coming in and for them it's just they know that when you get there it's going to be easier than what you did at Michigan State. Yeah. You get through, especially, a couple of years, Jaren was different and me and Tillman kind of stayed longer, but they know that when you get there, you're such a smart player and they know that you can pick up things and it's just going to be easier in the long run. So I think they like that. We just have that mold in us from kind of sticking it out here.
And X now, he's going to be playing in Europe, right? He's got a different opportunity. He's not going to be in the NBA.
Yeah,
Turkey. How about that? Yeah. Well, hey, good luck to you. Can't wait to watch you when you're with the Grizzlies and wherever basketball takes you. And good luck with the wedding planning.
Yeah, appreciate it, Zach. Thanks for the time.
Carson Cooper. We knew him from Jackson, and then he went to IMG. And I said, well, interesting to see where he shows up, and right back here. We'll be right back with Bob Tripi, our director of research, #1 numbers cruncher. He was just at Comerica Park over the weekend watching the Tigers. We'll talk to him about that, about what happened with the University of Michigan, much, much more coming up on The Drive with Jack.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Jeremy, I gotta ask, how do you always know where to go on the weekends?
Easy. One North. It's basically my cheat code.
What's going on there?
Live music every Friday and Saturday night, DJ trivia during the week. There's always something happening, Jack.
So I don't have to keep texting you for plans?
Nope. Just follow all 3 One North locations on social media. Lineups, times, everything's right there.
That might actually simplify my life.
That's the goal. When you're looking for something to do, One North's the move.
All right. See you there this weekend.
Are you passionate about college sports? Foster Swift Sports Talk is your go-to podcast dedicated to addressing the hottest topics in college athletics, including recruiting practices, NIL, the trade portal, collectives, and revenue generation.
Join us as we bring you insights from student athletes, college head coaches, administrators, and other industry leaders as they share their experiences in this rapidly changing arena.
Our mission is to share information and help educate student athletes, parents, coaches, and other stakeholders with the knowledge, resources, and strategies they need to make informed decisions and maximize each college athlete's potential for long-term success. Check out our latest episode. We're joined by Michigan State basketball players Andre Hudson and David Thomas to discuss their playing careers and also being parents to elite athletes. Like and subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook pages to watch all of our episodes, or you can give us a listen on any of your favorite podcasting platforms by simply searching Foster Swift Sports Talk. Until next time, I'm your host, Dave Russell.
Just minutes from Petoskey, Harbor Springs, and Mackinac City, golfers will find Northern Michigan's hidden gem on Maple River Road in Brutus, the Hidden River Golf and Casting Club and Travato Restaurant.
The course offers one of Northern Michigan's most memorable golf experiences, and Travato completes your day with exceptional dining. For tee times and dinner reservations, go to hiddenrivergolf.com.
That's hiddenrivergolf.com.
Welcome back. It is The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer today, Alex Heward. Boston Rob will be back tomorrow. He hasn't gone into producer's portal. We want to welcome in Bob Tripi. He's our director of research, longtime State of Michigan sports writer, a number one numbers cruncher, captain database. Bob, how are you?
Doing pretty good.
You were at Comerica Park yesterday, right? You couldn't go out and pitch the seventh or eighth inning, though.
Oh my God, Jack! You know it's so frustrating to watch this team, and you know, as soon as I got home, I had to start crunching numbers. I had some things I wanted to figure out, like how many blown saves they've had and all that, versus saves. You know, the Tigers have had more blown saves, which is 24, than they have saves. They have 21 saves this season.
Wow.
Their 24 blown saves are the most in the American League. So it's just, you know, the relievers, they're hurting. They're hurting for relief. And then, you know, here's an interesting stat for you. Total losses when leading in the seventh inning or later.
Yeah.
Detroit leads major leagues in total losses with 17.
Ouch.
Next closest is San Francisco with 14 and Washington with 14. So it's not good. It's not good. And, you know, I tell you, for a lot of Tiger fans that watch this team and, you know, you think that they're on the cusp of turning things around and, you know, chipping away and moving up in the wild card standings and all that. Right. And, you know, you play a team like Kansas City. It's a team that you should not be losing two straight games to. I mean,
especially without Bobby Witt, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that's like a freebie in the sense that, okay, they're missing their best player, and, you know, lo and behold, I hate to say it, but the relievers, they're not very good, to say the least. Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting week here because, you know, by this time next week, you know, the trade deadline is going to, you know, basically be over with. And we're
next Monday, right?
Next Monday.
5 o'clock? What is it? It's in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, it's in the afternoon. It's either 4 or 5. I don't know the exact time, but, you know, the Tigers, they got some work to do. And, you know, the next 6 games, I mean, they got 3 against Baltimore, and then they head out west to Sacramento, and they end up playing the Athletics.
Yeah.
And I don't know if decisions have been made at this point. I don't think they have. That's what all the, you know, supposed experts have said, is that, you know, they're going to wait and see where they kind of sit after this stretch here. But, you know, Tarek Skubel's pitching on Wednesday. He's supposed to pitch on Wednesday. And I have a thought.
Okay.
My thought is I don't pitch him. I don't pitch him at all. And I'll tell you why. Because what if something goes wrong? What if he gets injured? Let's say the Tigers end up losing tonight or losing tomorrow, and then they lose a game or two in Sacramento. And School gets injured, and you're not able to trade him and help this team. I think, Scott Harris has always talked about he wants to build a team that can endure for seasons ahead,
Yeah.
And I look at it and I think about it, okay, so that's what he said, that he wants to end up building a team that's not just for this year. Well, Tarek Skubal's not going to be on this roster next year. It's just not going to happen. He's going to be with another team, and that's if there is baseball next year.
But if this year doesn't matter, Bob, why did they go out and spend $38 million on Framber Valdez?
I think that's a big mistake.
That's a big mistake, right?
Oh, without a doubt, that's a big mistake. And for the life of me, every time I watch him pitch, I'm like, this guy's getting $38 million. I'm like, oh my God!
Twice what they offered Skubal in arbitration. They offered Tarek $19 million.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's the whole Skubal thing is just turned into quite a fiasco. I mean, last week, I'm sure you're aware where he came out and he did that interview with The Athletic where he talked about that he knew that he had an issue going on in his elbow and everything, before they actually had their arbitration hearing and all that. It was kind of hidden. Didn't want to say anything because he didn't want to lose out on any money. And then, he has to have the surgery, and that's the time where, the air kind of got let out of the Tigers. But I'm not blaming him for that, because they have enough problems with they can't hit the ball and they can't hold on to a lead. So I'm not putting the full blame on him.
Right.
But, it's like, where do you go with this? Do you end up having it so that you keep him with a hope that maybe you get into the playoffs? I mean, I was just looking a little while ago. There's Fangraphs, which is, for people who follow baseball, the junkies, so the nerds and all that. They do all kinds of analysis and stuff. And right now, they've got the Tigers at 32% to make the playoffs. But, they got the Guardians at 48.4, the White Sox at 44.5. So the Tigers have the third best. Oh, actually, no, the Twins. The Twins are at 32.9. So, you got three teams ahead of you. And I think Detroit, in my opinion, based off of what I've seen and what I'm guessing is going to happen here, I don't think they will get a wild card berth. They have to go all out to win the division. I think that's their best route because there's just too many teams that they would have to pass along the way in order to get that wild card berth.
Well, the last wild card right now, Bob, would go to the Guardians, and they are one game over 500. So the Tigers are 3.5 games out of the last wild card spot. They're 6 games out of first place in the American League Central, but 3.5 games, that can disappear in a head-to-head series in 1 week. When we look at what Boston has done here, not to say that the Tigers are going to match that, but they're certainly capable of it. And you look since June 1st, they still have one of the best records in the major leagues. All these other teams keep losing too.
Yeah. The American League is so weak this year.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no one team that's just running away with it, and you say that, they're definitely the favorite in that. Right now, you look at the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, they've got the best record, I believe, in the American League. And then you look
Didn't the Tigers sweep them in Tampa?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying is that, you look at it and the Tigers at times, they can look really good.
Yeah.
And then there are times like this past weekend where it's like they're head scratchers where you say, how could this team lose to the Kansas City Royals who,
Their 2 wins were by 1 run. They could have lost the series.
Yes, exactly. You hit it on the head there. I mean, it's not a team that they should have struggled with. And for whatever reason, they've been 1-run games here over the past couple series with with Kansas City. For whatever reason, Kansas City just seems to have Detroit's number.
Yeah.
And but they should not have struggled. I mean, this is a team that they look like, okay, they're going to continue being hot. They've got to continue winning these series if they want to just chip away and get back into contention. And right now, like I said, they've got some teams they're going to have to climb ahead of in order to get into the wild card situation. But I think their best road to the playoffs is they have to win the division. The good thing for them is they have a lot of games left in the division.
They do.
If you look at their schedule, the way it's shaped right now, out of all the teams that are in that wild card contention, Detroit has the most divisional opponents of all the other ones. So if that division is kind of and I got to say that division is not the greatest out there. If you compare it to American League East and the West, and that it's. If they can get hot and beat the teams that they need to beat, then they stand a chance of winning the division. But right now, they got to solve some problems they have, and it's in my opinion, it starts with the bullpen.
Well, of course,
and if you look at that,
you mentioned the 17 games they have lost in the seventh inning or later, and they are plus, I want to say 24 in run differential. The team that's in first place in the West has a minus run differential. It's the Texas Rangers, who have only lost one game all year that they led in the seventh inning or later. So that's a difference of 16 games, Bob.
Yeah, exactly. And you look at this team and you say, well, what could they possibly do? Well, I think, they're going to have to end up clearing some room here, money-wise, also with the contracts, the salaries, because right now the way it's set up is that say Skubal signs with another or is not traded. Okay, let's say he's not traded, and the Tigers hang on to him. The Tigers are going to have to get rid of somebody on the team. They're going to have to unload some contracts because the way it works under the collective bargaining agreement, the current one, is you either get a first or second round pick based off of if you are under the salary. Right. And I hate to use the cap, but that salary level where the penalty comes into play.
The apron.
If you're over that, and if you keep Skubal and you keep everybody else, they'll be over that, and they'll instead get a fourth-round pick, not a first or a second.
Well, there are other guys that they could certainly move if they're looking for space. I mean, look, Javi Baez is making $25 million. Flaherty's making close to $20 million. They got a lot of guys, and even if they just want to chip away at it and take a couple of other guys out of the mix, now they got Baez coming back. Maybe they jettison Matt Vierling. Who knows? They have other ways they can go about this.
Well, I think one contract to look at would probably be Gleyber Torres. The way Lee is playing, second base. I mean, his fielding's been a little suspect lately in that, but he's been hitting the ball, and that's what they kind of need is guys that can hit and that. Right. And so that's one place you could do it. Vierling is another place, like you said. As far as the relief situation and that, I do think that there is something that I really haven't seen anybody really mention, and that's the fact that Job, who is
Jackson Job,
he is now going to be pitching in Toledo, and he just finished, I believe, in Erie, so they're moving him to Toledo this week. And he's been pretty consistent in terms of what he's doing. I would actually bring him and put him in the bullpen. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. He's been in the high 90s. He's been a couple times. He's been around 100 miles an hour. Right. And his innings are going to be watched very closely because he's coming off Tommy John surgery and that. I would move him into the bullpen, and then
the starting staff has been the strength of the team. Valdez has been the weak spot. But you look at the other guys here, and certainly Troy Melton and Cater Montero, they've been very solid. And Mize and Skubal now, he's starting to look like the old Skubal that he was the past 2 years. So, I haven't given up hope on this. It's funny that when they won 2 out of 3 at Wrigley Field, people were saying, yeah, that's a good team in the National League. That's definitely a playoff team. And to go into Chicago and take 2 out of 3. And people were high on the Tigers middle of last week. And then when they lose those games Saturday and Sunday now, it's like they can never win again. If they had lost 2 out of 3 in Chicago, but they'd had a good weekend, then everyone's mindset changes.
Well, one way, if you want to really break it down of where are they really struggling here, runners in scoring position. Yeah. So I took a look at the box scores just to see. They were 6 of 32 over the weekend with the Royals. That's 18.7%.
Terrible.
And how many times did we see guys on third base or second base? They just can't get them home.
Clutch
and you're
hits.
not going to win very many games when you end up, doing that. I mean, the Tigers have scored 2 or fewer runs in 36 games this season. You got to get some offense here from some people, and there's plenty of blame to go around. It's not just one player. I mean, Kevin McGonigal cannot do everything, although some people think he can. But, look at Torkelson. Torkelson goes up and, you're lucky if he can hit the ball. He's been striking out a lot. Torres yesterday, I don't know, what was he, 0 for 4 or 0 for 5, something like that? Mm-hmm. He's not hitting the ball well. Carpenter, so A.J. Hinch just had his pregame press conference, and he said that Kerry Carpenter's leaning towards going on the IL with possibly plantar fasciitis. Yeah. So they might be losing him from the lineup.
He's been bad.
And they brought Valencia back up, so he's in the clubhouse right now. Right. And so have you heard the story about Kerry Carpenter of the whole situation with his foot?
No.
So what ended up happening was he had a certain type of spike that he wears. So he needed another set of spikes. Well, apparently the company that, and I don't remember the brand, the company that makes the spikes changed it, and they put a spike right in the center of the foot. Mm-hmm. So he's been having problems. He says his foot has been getting sore because he's not used to that. Yeah. So a couple games ago, I guess the equipment manager figured out how you could take that spike out of the new shoe that he got. So he did take it out, but apparently it's been too late that he's now got this, this issue with his foot, the foot that, he really plants when he ends up batting and everything. So now he's probably going to go on the IL, they think. Mm-hmm. And so you're taking another bat out. I mean, here's another guy.
Well, he went 0 for 25. I knew something was wrong.
Something is definitely wrong. And, he kind of talked about it the other day saying, he says, I've had this problem. He says, my foot's killing me, because of the fact that, this shoe has been, he couldn't find one that didn't have this spike in the middle of the foot. So, that's a guy that, they'll miss. Granted, he's missed a lot of hitting the ball around, but there's a little bit of a reason behind that. Yeah. You take him out of the lineup, and this week is
take him out of the lineup. The lineup might be better.
It might be because you're going to have somebody.
And the way A.J. Hinch manages with all the Hinch hitting, he's not going to be facing left-hand pitching anyway. So I'm not worried about the loss of Kerry Carpenter.
No, but you hate to see him take a bat out like that, but he has to because the guy's
it's
not
been a wiffle
anyway,
ball bat for the last month, so taking it out of the lineup might help. I want to talk to you a little bit about football here, and we're going to be in Chicago. Tom Crawford and I will be doing the Jack and Tom Green and Blue review and preview all season, and we're going to be doing some special things from the Hilton Chicago, but the media poll released now, Bob, and Ohio State ranked number 1 and Oregon 2, and a lot of people think those teams can win the national title. Indiana ranked 3rd in the preseason poll, and I went through this, and I can see a way Indiana can go 12-0. I really can. The tough game they have is Ohio State in Bloomington. And then USC picked 4th, Michigan 5th, Penn State 6th, Michigan State picked 16th. Just ahead of Rutgers and Purdue, but that means no pressure, no expectations. That can also be a good thing in year 1 for Pat Fitzgerald. The problem is that Obviously, the depth is lacking, and so are the players. But I want to talk about the situation in Ann Arbor. And as you pointed out today, if you start doing the math here, you've got $30 million in an NCAA fine, okay, a penalty with the 4-year probation. You have a $12 million investigation for the oral report that no one seems to be able to identify other than a summary that was released. And then you have $7.14 million in a settlement for Ward Manuel. You throw that all together, you got $49 million. That's 1/10 as much as Michigan paid all of the survivors of Dr. Robert Anderson and all the shenanigans he had on campus. When you start to look, of course, they have a $266 million budget, so maybe this isn't that big a number. But for Michigan, if I am Ward Manuel, I am really thanking my attorneys because they managed to get a deal where he leaves, and it's a voluntary deal. He's not being fired the way it's being worded, and he gets to stick around till the end of the year. I don't know anyone who's fired. Usually they say, go clean out your desk. We got 2 security guys going with you. Instead, he's going to be around, and while he is there, he is going to be a special advisor to the president. I don't know that many people who get run out and then they're a special advisor, but that's the same president who 3 months ago said he was the best athletic director in the country. I don't know if he didn't see that list of the 24 scandals, but apparently it didn't matter to him. So what do you think is going on in Ann Arbor?
I honestly don't know what to make of it. I mean, it's like, what? Wait a minute. And you know what you left out? They're also being sued by Paige Shiver for civil rights and Title IX violations.
Oh, yeah.
That could end up in the millions, too, for
and
all we
Chris
know.
Partridge, who is alleged that
Partridge.
Santa Ono, the then university president, obstructed the NCAA investigation. And if there's any truth to that, if that's not a problem with the NCAA, okay, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like, the NCAA, are they even looking or hearing or watching this thing to see how this all plays out? Because if there's proof that Ono told people to not cooperate with the NCAA and, Ward Manuel is on board with that, isn't it a lack of institutional control?
Absolutely. But they need the proof, so it's going to be resolved. And if the judge in the case, or there's a settlement where Michigan ever admits to anything and says that, yes, now they're liable that way, too. So they're already on 4 years probation, and once you're on probation, then it's basically a slap on the wrist, and they say, don't do it again. If you do, you're in big trouble. So if something else happens while you're on probation, that's where you really get the sanctions.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a mess down there, And to walk away with $7.14 million, a buyout after all the stuff that has gone on there, it's like, what the heck are they thinking? I mean, does he have pictures of somebody or something? Because there's no way. I don't think any company, a regular company, would even go along with that type of payout for something like that. You've already cost it under your watch. You've basically ended up being fined, by the NCAA, and you had an investigation that didn't exactly clear the athletic department.
No,
it was under your watch, and so what are you doing?
The report compared it to the KGB.
Yeah,
remember that the NCAA used that term. It's a KGB style operation. So if Ward Manuel is getting $7.14 million to take a 3-year vacation, you can believe that he has or will sign a non-disclosure agreement, which means what? He can't write a book. He can't go out and trash Michigan. What they're doing is paying for his silence.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. And, it's not a good look. It's not a good look for Michigan.
Especially when they start this thing saying that they're going to have total transparency.
Yeah, right. There's no transparency down there. There's nothing. What does Tom think of it all?
Well, I think you know the answer to that question. That's that's rhetorical. I think you'll get a chance to hear more about this as time goes on. But right now, we're waiting to see what happens with the rest of this case. And if I'm Paige Shiver and attorneys, I got to feel pretty good here, because the last thing Michigan wants now is disclosure. They don't want to go to a situation where everything is thrown open. So they'll probably have some sort of a settlement with her.
I would think so, yeah. They don't want anything to go on the record anywhere.
No.
Because if that happens, then it just opens up Pandora's box, and you're basically looking at more problems that are going to come down the road for that program and that. And it's it's just amazing to watch. I mean, Jack, you and I both hear things that we can't talk about on the air and all that,
right.
But we know stuff, and it's just mind-boggling. I today, Larry Lage put out the article today about the payout and everything, the buyout to Ward Manuel, and I texted him and I said, someone's got to clue me in. What the heck are they thinking? And he says, it's hard to make sense of it all. It truly is.
All the money. They know what's there. They know it. And if Jenner and Block told them, they didn't put it in writing, but if they told them what they had found, it sure sped up the settlement.
You can only laugh, Jack. That's all. When people start talking about the whole Michigan situation, I said, well, if you ever figure out what's going on there, you let me know. Because I said, I don't think anybody really understands their line of thinking, because I certainly don't. And I've talked to so many people, and they're like just clueless. They're like, I don't understand it either.
Hey, Bob, great to talk with you. And are you down at the ballpark this week for these first three games?
Possibly on Wednesday.
Okay.
Possibly Wednesday. Great. So we'll see.
Great to talk with you. We'll have you on again next Monday. Look forward to it.
All righty.
Bob Tripi, our Director of Research. We'll be right back. And the plan, Alex, is to talk with Denny McLain, the last 31-game winner in the major leagues. And what a life, what a career, good and bad. And we'll talk about all that and more coming up on The Drive with Jack.
Just minutes from Petoskey, Harbor Springs, and Mackinac City, golfers will find Northern Michigan's hidden gem on Maple River Road in Brutus, the Hidden River Golf and Casting Club and Travato Restaurant.
The course offers one of Northern Michigan's most memorable golf experiences, and Travato completes your day with exceptional dining. For tee times and dinner reservations, go to hiddenrivergolf.com.
That's hiddenrivergolf.com.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Jeremy, it's finally patio season.
About time. And not just any patio, Amy. One North patios.
We're talking sunshine, cold drinks, and that perfect I should have left work early vibe.
Lansing, East Lansing, Jackson, each one has got its own patio personality.
Whether it's brunch in the sun, happy hour with friends, or late night cocktail under the lights.
It just hits different outside.
Great food, craft drinks, and plenty of space to kick back.
So grab your crew and claim your spot.
One North Kitchen and Bar, your table's waiting. Outside.
Let's go.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Meadowar Jewelers.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
Welcome back. It is The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer, Alex Heward. Alex, a lot of talk about the Detroit Tigers and all the frustration. I want to welcome in someone who knows as much about Tigers baseball from 10 years in the organization, the highs and lows, as anyone could. Dennis Dale McLain. Denny McLain, in a 5-year period, won 108 games for the Tigers, and the last 31-game winner in 1968. Denny, welcome to the show.
Jack, this is a real pleasure. I've heard guys call you Superman today, Clark Kent today, Matt Dillon today. I mean, they say you are a shooter.
You didn't talk to my wife. That's I'm sure about that.
I thought it was the other woman.
When we talk about the Tigers, I want to start with 2026 and work backward. How can the team have 17 games that they have lost leading in the 7th inning or later, and this rotation, the starting rotation, seems about as good as any in baseball, but they cannot protect a lead? You wouldn't know that much about it because you kept pitching complete games, but what's wrong with the Tiger bullpen?
Well, I will tell you this, that, they put a whole bunch of new people together. That's the first hump you got to get under. You got to be comfortable with the other people that come into your organization. Yeah. And I just don't think very many guys are comfortable. And I think once you start going bad, there seems to be a better camaraderie when they're losing than they are winning. And I think if you really look at the game closely, like we do from time to time, I think you see it wide open, because when guys aren't hitting, the other guys aren't hitting. When the guys aren't catching the ball. See, I think the biggest mortal sin that this manager commits every day, he never bunts, he never hits and runs, he never runs and hits, he never has an idea. Yes, let me back up. Yes, he's got an idea who he's going to bring in for the second or third or fourth pitcher. I mean, it's got to be a hell of a argument you have with yourself every day. Well, who the hell do I bring in second, third, and fourth? Right. I can't imagine. I mean, most teams have their starters, and then most teams have their aces, and the ace comes out of the bullpen, as far as I'm concerned, in today's game. I mean, you seldom look at the ace of the staff, in most staffs anyway, where the ace is actually a starting pitcher. I mean, and the problem seems to be simple. They don't pitch enough. None of them spend enough time in the minor leagues. None of them spend enough time working with a real major league coach. We hired a couple of years ago, you may recall this, we hired a college coach, a pitching coach, and brought him to the Detroit Tigers as the pitching coach for a major league team. Now, he's probably making $100,000 a year, maybe
Chris
$150,000.
Yeah.
Right. And then guess what? The guys that he's trying to teach something to, if he can at all, because they're going to look upon this as kind of a joke. But if he does it at all, these guys are making the $500,000, $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, $20 million. How do you listen to a guy who's making $100,000 a year and he's supposed to tell you what to do and throw a curveball and a slider? He's never been there. He was never a star. I mean, listen, you got to be there and do it before you can share it. And that's the one thing that Johnny Sain, who was the greatest pitching coach of all time, that's the one thing he told me from day one. If you want to be it, but make sure you got to follow it right to the day. And he was right, because if you, the other saying Johnny had was, listen, the more you work, the easier it becomes. And that is the truth. I mean, I don't know how many people know this, but between starts during the wintertime, I used to bowl 100 lines a day, 6 days a week, 100 lines of bowling every day, 6 days a week, that is. And you know what? That kept my legs in great shape. It helped the strength of my shoulder, which I eventually, in 1971, severed the rotator cuff.
Not from bowling, though, right?
Cuff. What?
You didn't sever it because of bowling?
No. It had nothing to do with bowling.
Okay,
it had to do with a very, very bad slider up in the eyes of Harmon Killebrew.
All right. I want to talk a little bit about what this team does now. And everyone's talking about Tarek Skubal. Casey Mize also could be gone. Gleyber Torres. They have guys on expiring contracts. But you had your glory years with Detroit. You had a 20-win season in 66, but in 68, you were at an ERA below 2, not just Bob Gibson, and you won 31 games. And the next year, you won 24, and your WAR was actually better because pitching was down, they lowered the mound, etc.
Right.
But then after that,
killed us.
that's right. After that, you got moved to the Washington Senators.
God, yes.
What about a trade like that? What can that do for an organization, plus or minus?
Well, the first consideration you would give is suicide, because I'm telling you, once I got over there. By the way, the Washington Senators were 25 of the nicest, best guys I ever played with in my life. The problem is we couldn't pitch, we couldn't hit, and we couldn't hit a cutoff man.
That's a problem.
Outside of that, we were a great team. And then the worst part, to top it all off, my friend, and this is, I could never come up with the right words to tell you one thing. I played for the worst manager, and by the way, I think this manager rivals Ted Williams. Ted Williams was the worst manager I've ever seen.
You think A.J. Hinch is one of the worst managers in baseball history?
I think so. Maybe not history, but listen, I say this to you. If you have to win and cheat, you're in the wrong business. I mean, he cheated to get just think about this. He, 3 or 4 years in a row, he cheated and gave signs with everybody else on that ball club. And remember, this is the manager. This is supposed to be the man with all the character. Uh-huh. And then the next thing that happens is, well, geez, I mean, he gets suspended because he got caught. So he sits out a year, and now he's got a brand new contract, they say, that's for $1 million a year for 7 or 8 years. I mean, that's a pretty skating way to go and to make that kind of money. But let me give you the bottom line. I got suspended for 90 days because I threw a cup of water on a writer.
Yeah, or writers, right?
A writer.
Jim Hawkins and Watson Spolstra.
Watson Spolstra, yeah. Spolstra got mad, but Jim Hawkins still has the jacket.
All right.
Jim's a good guy.
Let's talk a little bit about the Tigers and the weekend. And a lot of people disappointed in what happened Saturday and Sunday. They played 4 one-run games with the wretched Royals and managed to go 2-2. But they also had a celebration of 125 years of Tigers baseball, and a lot of different venues, from Bennett Park to Navin Field to Briggs Stadium, Tiger Stadium, and now Comerica Park. And they brought back everyone who had a pulse, except one guy, right? Yeah. So why didn't Denny McLain get an invitation to come back for this celebration?
Well, I'm told that I have got a bad relationship with Ilitch. I don't know where it could have come from. I don't know where it developed. I think the guy who caused a lot of trouble on our ball club was Jimmy Price at one time. So if it ever started that way, it started and ended that way. As far as the guys none of the 68 guys except Horton showed up. But Horton is an employee of the Detroit Tigers, so he's required to be there.
How many of them are still around, Denny? A lot of them have passed, right?
We've only got 5 or 6 left.
Yeah.
I think only 3 can walk, and I not being one of them, by the way, because I just broke my hip a short time ago.
Oh, no.
So I'm battling that. And but nonetheless, the guys who and they made a real good representation of the Tigers, no question about it. And the guys that showed up, the All-Stars, were good guys. What I was told, though, nobody else was told. I was told, this is from somebody at the ball club way up on the ladder, and he tells me the reason why we didn't bring the 68 guys in, because we only wanted to bring in one guy, an All-Star, from each decade. Wait a minute. I mean, just look at who they brought in, and you'll see more than one person coming into the decades from the same decades. I mean, come on. You can, float the boat once in a while, but you can't float it all the time.
You think the Tigers are lying to you, Denny? Are they lying to the public about this?
100%. 100%. And you know what? The other guy, too, John Warden, who I had a long conversation with, John just couldn't believe he wasn't invited. John, by the way, was one of the most gracious, nicest guy. He hung around with everybody with the ball club. And I'm not only talking about the 68 guys. I'm talking about all these other kids from 68, 69, 70, right up and through 2026. John had relationships with almost everybody, and John didn't even get a phone call. Not even to make a phone call and explain why you're doing this and not doing this was just unpardonable. And, and I talked to as I said, the front office, a guy real high in the organization, and he at the end of the conversation, he said, I really am sorry. And by the way, if you need 4 tickets, I can get you 4 tickets any day. First of all, it's in our players' agreement. We can get 4 tickets every day for the rest of our life.
So do you think it was personal? Do you think it was something against Denny McLain?
It's if the thing with Illich is true, and I'm led to believe from several people that it's true, he's got some kind of a bonehead idea that I must have done something to him. And I've never, by the way, to my knowledge, I've never met him. In fact, when we had the last anniversary of the 68 Club, he was in the same room with me, and I started to walk up to him, and he turned around and walked out of the room. So apparently the relationship was bad before that anniversary show. So, and it has to be personal. It couldn't be any other way. All the other guys that had played there, and I'm not crying, please don't think I'm crying, but all the other guys who make appearances for the Tigers are still getting their appearances all year long. I haven't had one in 3 years.
So, Denny, I had a chance to talk to a lot of former Tiger players over the course of time here, and I went back through and I found out some of the comments, some of the things that they thought about you, and no one could ever criticize 68 or 69 or when you were healthy and the job you did for the Detroit organization. But these are just a few of the comments, and then I'll let you address them. Jim Northrup, all right, a guy who you knew well, and Jim has his own views.
Let me
of
say
things.
this to you, one of my best friends.
Okay. His comment was, he's the original flim-flam man. Any day I expect him to come riding in on a Conestoga stallion, talking about, he said, that's Denny. You talk about Jim Price, even Ernie Harwell, who doesn't say a bad word or didn't say a bad word about many people. He said the problem with Denny was he always pushed the envelope. He went over the edge. And this is a guy who wrote a song about you, right? Denny McLain, never been any like Denny McLain. And he said...
well, let me say this to you. You don't pitch 9 innings 28 times in 1 year without going over the edge.
Yeah. So
that's my nature. I'm very aggressive.
What about with Price and some of the other guys? What was the problem with there?
Can I ask you a question? When did Northup make this statement?
I don't have the date here. I'm looking at this out of a book right now.
Oh, okay. Because he's been dead 25 years.
Yeah. No, it was a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And Price has been dead for quite some time.
I'll tell you when it was. It was during the ESPN Classic Sports Centuries on television.
Okay, but I never pitched wanting to get up somebody's butt. I never pitched because I couldn't pitch. I never pitched because it wasn't my turn. I mean, that's the kind of thing I looked at. All I wanted to do was pitch every fourth day, and hopefully we would win. And as you look at the box scores and what have you, when I was with Detroit, we had good success together.
Right.
And the worst thing that ever happened to me was being traded to the Washington Senators.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just because of the team, but Jim Campbell, who really got mad over this water on Watson Spoelstra for some reason, and suspended me for 90 days with the water.
Yeah.
Just let me have it the day he says, I'm trading you. I says, for what? What did I do to you? And he says, well, you did not act like a professional. I said, what did I do? He said, you threw water on the writers. I said, Jim, in '68, we almost drowned them. I mean, everybody got drowned and when we won the pennant in the World Series. I said, what is this? He says, well, that's all I've got to say. And that was it. Jim and I never talked after that, unfortunately, because I would certainly like to have gotten to the bottom. But if the reason was because I threw water on Watson Spoelstra, I apologized to him any number of times. And, obviously his normal answer rolled out of his lips was, hey, don't worry about it. No big deal. Well, meanwhile, I lost 90 days, half my salary that year.
Denny, is it possible that the Tigers, just possible, that the Tigers looked at the same evidence Sports Illustrated did about the bookmaking, what happened going back, and the story about Tony Giacalone and all of those kinds of things that maybe they looked at and they said, this guy's high maintenance, the juice isn't worth the squeeze? No,
I'll tell you what it is. First of all, the FBI found me not guilty of anything. Nothing. Zero. That's the one thing that I'm hurt by the most, that people make all of these crazy allegations, and none of them are true. I never met Giacalone. I never met any of these other guys, especially these guys that they talk about in New York, John Gotti. I mean, all of these people, I've never met any of these people. Do you think John Gotti or Giacalone, do you think they needed my profile? Are you kidding?
Were you sentenced to 23 years in prison at one point, and then it was overturned for procedural violations, but did you get a 23-year prison sentence?
It was reversed. It was thrown out.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Did you have a problem with $12.5 million missing from a pension fund?
It's a lie. It's an absolute damn lie.
Okay.
And let me tell you something. There's only one guy that paid it back, and that was me. I paid, and it wasn't anywhere near $12 million. It was, in the grand scheme of things, if you want to compare it to 12.5, it winds up being chump change in the grand scheme of things.
Okay. I'm wondering, I'm just trying to figure out what the Tigers would have against you. I'm having a hard time.
But that's the most terrific lie ever told, $12.5 million. My God. When we walked into that plant after we had bought it, we put several $1 million in that just to bring their pension up because they were so baffled and confused with what was going on there. I mean, what we just tried to do was save the thing, and it was just too late.
Denny, did you have a lawsuit against Sports Illustrated or anyone? Because if they're slandering you, I would think that you would be entitled to some restitution more than you'd get at a card show. You obviously did you have a case against them?
We have had a number of lawsuits against people, and I don't think we've lost one yet. Okay. I think every one of them. Well, I know one thing: everyone was settled.
Okay.
So we never lost any dime in court.
Well, I hope the Tigers can take a look at this, because when you have a player who did what you did for Detroit and to be, I think, vilified, certainly it's, when they look at that situation, how are you feeling these days? You all right?
Well, I got this broken hip, and I'm trying to have an operation. I was told if I get it right now, because I've got such a running hip, it flows a bad blood of some kind. And if they do an operation right now, I run a chance of getting cystis or sepsis. Ooh. And so we have to wait until this injury these damn holes in my right leg until they absolutely get healed, and then they'll do the operation. Probably be another couple of 3 months. I've been sitting on my butt for 7 months since this happened, and I slipped on the ice out here. Never saw it coming. It was, what do they call it? Dark ice or black ice, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I never saw it. And then I laid about 25 minutes in the garage, front of the garage, because no one was walking in that minus 20-degree weather with their dog. I picked the worst night of the winter to fall. So yeah, it became a comedy of errors, and everything I did was wrong there for a while, medically and any other thing that we tried to do, because I wanted to just continue to work and do what I do, because I do about 40 or 50, card shows a year and dinners, and we have a great time. I mean, we've enjoyed great success out there, and the people everywhere are wonderful. They really are. I've always said this. I thought at one time the Chicago Cubs I grew up in Chicago, and I thought the Cubs had the greatest audience at one time. It doesn't. Detroit has the best. They go in a great way. They go nuts, and it's great to hear that noise that comes out of the stands. It's really a pumper-upper.
Denny, when you were throwing at your peak, what was your velocity? You were in the 90s, right? 93,
right near 100.
Close to that.
Right near 100.
Oh, wow. Okay, so if you could do that and pitch as many innings as you pitched and as many complete games as you pitched, why can't guys go 7 innings now? Why did they have to sit down before they get to 100 pitches?
They do not give these kids enough time to learn how to pitch. Number one, learn how to pitch. Let's put that last. The first thing is how to pitch. You got to pitch to learn how to pitch. I mean, you have to learn what. It's like taking the girl to the dance. You take her to the dance, you got to take her home also. When you get into a tight game, you should know all the time when you get in trouble what you're going to do at that point in time. How are you going to pitch this guy? It could be Kyle Yastrzemski. It could be Willie Horton. It could be anybody. But you have to know before you go out there how you're going to pitch a guy if you got the bases loaded and nobody out. You got to, and you just don't throw the Holy Cross up in the air and say, well, if it lands on one side, I'll get him out. If I don't, it runs on the other side. I mean, it doesn't work that way. But the biggest thing that we do, we miss cutoff men, and we don't bunt. And I'll bet you can go back to the schedules, and I'll bet you can find at least a half a dozen to 12 games that they should have won if they just bunted.
Yeah, I don't believe in it. Yeah. Last thing for you, Denny, of all the accomplishments, all the honors, those back-to-back years, Cy Young Awards, etc., what are you most proud of? And if you had one do-over, one thing you could change about your life, what would it be?
Well, I lost a daughter, and I just recently lost my wife. Both of those things would be reversed immediately. But in the world of sports, I think the proudest moment in my life was the night we won the pennant. Not the World Series, but the pennant. And the reason why the pennant, because they hadn't won one in a very long time. And secondly, the way the people came back to the ballpark was enormous. I mean, it was, you just wouldn't believe it. Guys got standing ovations just as standing in the batter's box or in the on-deck circle. Norm Cash was just flabbergasted halfway through the season when we really got going, and people were applauding him standing up in the third, fourth, fifth, sixth inning. It was I used the word majestic. It really was. If you weren't on cloud nine with the fans and the way we played that year, then you just somebody's going to need to pinch you and get you awake.
Denny, I hope the recovery continues and you can get out and get around, and I hope that you get some reconciliation with the Tigers. At least you get a chance to explain yourself to them.
That would be a good thing. I welcome that without any question.
Thanks so much for coming on the show. Dennis Dale McLain, the last pitcher, and I think, Alex, he will be the last pitcher in history to win 31 games. Now, guys only start 31 times. A lot of them in major leagues in the rotations. We'll be right back. We're going to talk with Desmond Ferguson. And he is, of course, Mr. Moneyball. We're in the final weeks. We're in the playoffs. And then Sparty Mike Sterner, doctor at McLaren of Greater Lansing. And he spends all of his time and money going around to games, including the last 2 losses at Comerica Park. We'll get his take on what he saw. We'll be right back on The Drive with Jack.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Jeremy, what's the move when the kids say they're bored?
Easy. Family fun night every Tuesday at 1 North.
Free kids meal with every entree, so dinner is handled.
And we're not just talking crayons and paper menus.
Nope. We've got Battleship, Uno, all the table game classics.
Plus, all the big stuff, Amy. Giant Yahtzee, Connect 4. It's basically game night leveled up.
Kids stay entertained, parents actually get to relax. It's a win-win.
Great food, family vibes, and a little friendly competition.
Family fun night at 1 North Kitchen and Bar.
Come hungry and ready to play.
Just minutes from Petoskey, Harbor Springs, and Mackinac City, golfers will find Northern Michigan's hidden gem on Maple River Road in Brutus, the Hidden River Golf and Casting Club and Travato Restaurant.
The course offers one of Northern Michigan's most memorable golf experiences, and Travato completes your day with exceptional dining. For tee times and dinner reservations, go to hiddenrivergolf.com.
That's hiddenrivergolf.com.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Oh, welcome back. It is The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer, Alex Heward. Alex, you're a baseball guy. Did you learn anything in that segment with Denny McLain?
Well, I mean, I didn't learn anything per se other than the fact that pitchers nowadays just don't have the moxie they used to.
Yeah. I'm more interested in why he's not doesn't have a relationship with the Tigers now. Maybe that'll change at some point. Want to welcome in Desmond Ferguson, Mr. Moneyball, the Moneyball Pro-Am Summer League. Always great to have you with us, Des.
Yes, sir. Moneyball is in the building, man. It's official.
Alex, I probably had Des on 36 times here, and every single time he's been in the building, so that's good to know. Even when he's not. Can you talk about Moneyball 2026? And despite having to cancel sessions, and you had to do that for health reasons with the precipitation at Holt High School, I think everyone's had a great time, and the players seem to have bonded with a lot of people in the community. How is this year's event different from last year?
Not much difference. We probably had the most overtime games that we've had this summer more than any summer. So that the parity and how good the game's been, and guys competing in particular towards the end of the game. So not too much change from previous years.
The commissioner must have done a great job of assigning players to teams and forming the rosters, right?
Yeah, I did all right, man. I couldn't get BLTs a win, man. I really wanted to get them a win, and they weren't able to do that. So, but other than that, even some of the games they lost were very close. So, it wasn't too many blowouts, and that's always the goal, to have close, good games that the fans can enjoy.
When Trey Holloman came back, you couldn't assign him to the team you wanted to get that win?
No, because that day, a couple guys, the Hankerson brothers that hadn't really been all summer, they finally showed up. So, that worked itself out.
Gotcha. So now you have playoffs this week, right? Looking forward to that.
Playoffs start tomorrow, and then we finish up on Thursday.
So tell us the format and how this is going to work Tuesday, and then Thursday night. You'd have 3 teams left, right? After tomorrow night.
Yep. So since we have kind of an odd number, even though it's 6 teams, the even number, usually you're dealing with 4, 8, 12 when you talk about having parity. But so number 1 versus 6, the winner of that game, the number 1 seed versus number 6 seed, whoever wins that automatically goes to the championship game on Thursday. Now, most of the time it is the number 1 seed, but we've had a time or two where number 6 seed, when you expect number 1 seed to win, go straight to the championship game. And then obviously the one of the other 2 games play at 6 o'clock on Thursday to play in the championship. So if you could potentially, one team is going to play 2 games on Thursday.
Right. So you could have a 6 seed that hadn't won a game throughout the summer have the game of their lives and beat the 1 seed and then advance to the championship and just sit there and be rested, while the 2 other teams had to battle it out, right?
That very well could happen, yep.
Wow. It's exciting. So do you think, and you don't have to tip your hand on who it might be, but we've had guys come in, and we've had them this year who've come in and played, and over the course of history, we've had a lot of guys come back. You think we might have any surprise players this week?
No, I try to keep it fair, and if you haven't played at least one regular season game, then you can't play in the playoffs.
Okay.
I obviously would make an exception if a NBA guy came walking in and wanted to play or something like that. But we try to keep it fair and say at least one playoff game in order to play in the playoffs. So I don't think you see any surprises outside that somebody who's already been here.
If Draymond Green walked in and he had Steph Curry with him, you could make an exception, right?
Oh, 100%.
All right. Let's talk about the highlights and the players. Whenever you have Cohen Carr in Moneyball, we know what that's about, and not just the long lines for autographs, but the dunks, the highlight reel things that we have seen from him. You had a more spectacular player individually in the history of Moneyball than Cohen Carr?
Not at all. I think, Miles would be the closest because that was just kind of when things were going viral and everything. And, Miles right there. But, Cohen, we've obviously had, Cohen 4 summers now?
Yeah.
4 summers now. Yeah. So, the crowd that he's brought, the fans, the amount of people that stay around and want to get autographs from him and everything, he would be numero uno.
I think I've told you this, Des, but my 2 favorite Moneyball players were Kay Felder, and to do the things he did at his size, and he was a show. And then for a different reason, Jackson Kohler, because he played so hard and he took it seriously. And, some guys are working on things or they're there to put on a show, and the crowd loves that. But for Jackson Kohler, it was serious business. And he wanted to win so bad.
Yeah. Jackson came with his hard hat, every night and play hard. And I really like that about Jackson, the way he approached summer league. Some guys kind of be a little lazy or not giving 100%, but he gave 100% every single day he stepped on that court.
So what do we have for the standings now, Des? Which team is in first place? Which is in second? I spent a little time with Ben Bakken this morning, and TriStar, the defending champion, thinks it's going to defend its title. But who does TriStar have to catch?
Yeah, so Lafayette ended up as the number 1 seed, and then TriStar 2 seed, Fago 3 seed, SVS 4 seed, Motor Cars 5 seed, and then BLT 6 seed.
Okay. So when we think about tomorrow night, would you expect it to get more competitive than it has been? Sometimes we've seen guys and they play a little different defense the last week.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think you're going to see any 100-point games. Not that we had a whole lot of them, but we have had some.
Right.
When playoffs come, it definitely gets a lot more competitive. Guys, playing harder on defense. So, I'm expecting some good games.
What about the guys who have been around the longest? And, you had people who play in this thing for 20 years. Who's been around the longest playing this season?
This season, it would probably go to Sidney Drones. We call him JJ.
Okay.
But he'd probably be that's currently playing. I would say he's the longest tenured Pro-Am guy. Yep.
Okay. When I was talking to Ben today, the idea we had of the Moneyball Museum, I think there's a good chance we can get that done. I'm looking forward to that because so many people would love to know the history of it and just to reminisce, just to be able to tell their kids, you see that guy? He was here and I saw him do this, and you probably don't remember it, but we got a picture of you with him. All of those things, all those bond building things. I think that is such a special event for Mid-Michigan, Des, that would be a big plus moving forward.
Yeah, we're going to have to work on that and get it together. I think it would be nice.
So do you have a prediction, or is the commissioner not allowed to predict what we're going to see in the championship game?
Well, back in the day when I was playing, I would have bet on black, because I was a black team.
That's right.
But things have changed now. So, no, I just want to see some good games and the players playing hard and enjoying themselves, and thus, I think the fans will enjoy themselves as well.
Let me ask you this. I think every year we get some surprises or some players that open eyes, okay? And there are two in particular this year that I've heard more people come out and say, wow, I didn't know that. And one of them is Julius Avent, right? Incoming freshman at Michigan State, and he was probably the 4th ranked of the 4 freshmen coming in. And now people are saying, well, you're not going to be able to just sit that guy at the end of the bench. And the other guy is KJ Torbert. And he's playing on a team with Cohen and Jesse McCullough. Jesse hitting that big 3 last week to win that game in overtime. But KJ Torbert, you don't take him seriously, he's going to light you up.
Oh, no. Same how we were just talking about Jackson. Every time KJ steps on the floor, he plays hard, and it's just an extension of what he did at the high school level. And I'm really excited to get a chance to see what he's going to do at the collegiate level. So every day he steps out there, he's playing like he has something to prove. And I think at that age and that point in his career, that's how he should be approaching the game of basketball.
You mentioned your playing days and the time that you played in this event, always for Team Black, it seemed. When's the last time you hit a corner jumper in Moneyball?
Ooh-wee. Yeah, that's over 10 years ago, so we're in 26. I think the last time I played might have been around 14, maybe somewhere around there.
Okay.
2014.
How much do you shoot these days? Do you go out and do you just take the ball and see what you could do? Challenge yourself?
No, not much these days. I've been saying I want to get in the gym and just get some shots up for a little workout. But, maybe a couple shots, at the Pro-Am games before people get there. But nothing serious.
Well, you're too busy right now running Moneyball, which is a tremendous success story. And how many schools, how many teams now are you equipping?
Well, we got a lot. You ask me that every time, and
I do.
I say at one point in time I'm going to answer for you, but I never do. But we really been growing. Obviously, my background is basketball, and we specialize in the custom uniforms, but we've really been growing in the soccer space and the track and cross country and football and baseball, softball, volleyball, everything. So now that school is getting ready to come back in about another month, once August 1 hit, that's when we start having our peak season from August through December. So, staying pretty busy and, with the uniform side leading the way, and then we obviously have the retail side of business as well.
And when you think about how that has grown, was that all part of the plan, or did it surprise even you?
Yeah, I didn't really have no master plan. I just kind of, grow and go. There's always goals to, get better, individually in the game of life, and then, game of business to grow each and every year as well. So that's the plan with us, in a sense, having three parts of the business. Like I said, the uniform side, the retail side, and the events. The event side has really picked up a lot. We obviously have our 10th annual Moneyball 3-on-3 tournament going on this weekend downtown Lansing. So, just staying busy with different events and, everyday business.
Tell us a little bit more about the tournament. Can people still sign up?
Yeah, we're accepting some teams still. We got everything from 10U all the way to 35 up division, male and female. This is our 10th year doing it, like I said. We started off doing it at the Lansing Mall. Then we went over to Mount Hope Park that's over there, kind of near Grand Ledge. And this is our second year downtown Lansing. So last year downtown was really great. My whole goal is to kind of bring back those vibes when I was coming up in middle school, high school, when we had the Gus Macker downtown.
Right.
And like I said, we had a good one last year and looking forward to a good one this year. But we're still allowing some sign-ups. We're still looking for a few girls teams in 10U. And 11, 12U, and then 17, 18. So if anybody listening to this, any parents, any kids that want to sign up, give us a call or just go to moneyballsportswear.com, events, and Moneyball 3-on-3.
Okay, so you can easily access that at the website, moneyballsportswear.com, and you can sign up if you choose to do so. Des, we talk about you as a businessman. We talk about you as a player, including your time in pro basketball. Your time at Missouri and at Detroit. But we don't talk enough about you as a coach. Do you miss that?
Mm-hmm. No, I don't. In the totality, no. I miss some of the relationships that I formed with some young men now that's, fathers and, grown now. I miss some of the development process and us going on road trips and, the whole crowd going against us and getting a win. Some of those things that, sort of like I missed as a player. But, the totality of it, I don't miss coaching. I just miss some pieces of it.
How much has that changed for young coaches coming into the business, things that they deal with now that maybe you didn't?
Yeah, and we talk about the kids, but it's so much that falls on the adults. Just I kind of, I guess a sense the lack of respect. I mean, back when we was coming up, the high school coach was a pillar in the community, someone that we looked up to, that respected. And I don't necessarily think that's the case now. And no fault to the actual coaches. I don't think that it's really respected like it once was, coming up. And I think that's kind of the downfall of it. But we obviously living in different times now.
Des, do you think it makes a difference for high school athletes when the coaches are in the building, when they see them during the day, or doesn't that matter?
Definitely. I said that. So if I would have had to be in the building, I wouldn't have coached.
Yeah.
But coaching 5 years at Everett and realizing how important it was, even though I wasn't in the building, we had whether my assistant, JV freshman coach was in the building. And I think it's very important because we got something that them kids want, and that's playing time. And and they're gonna act a little different when the coaches are and you have men in the building that they respect the authority. So yeah, I think it's even though I didn't, I think it's important and it's a plus when you have the coaches actually working in the schools that they're coaching at.
Who taught you the most about basketball?
Man, I would say a combination of my coaches. Rest in peace to the late great Johnny Jones.
Yeah.
Then I was able to go on to college and play for the great Perry Watson.
Yeah.
So those two in particular, they did a great job not only teaching me about the game of basketball but the game of life. Things that I still carry with me to this day as when I was a coach. As a man, as a business person, as a father. They were just great leaders of men and. And growing up not having a father figure my coaches were my father figures.
Yeah.
And they did a great job and helped raise me.
We're talking with Desmond Ferguson, by the way, a member of the Greater Lansing Area Sports Hall of Fame. Finally got that done. And a lot of people are very happy about that. Mr. Moneyball is a Hall of Famer. But in terms of...
Thanks for you, man. Thanks for you. I know you pushed it for some years, man, so I definitely appreciate it.
I want to ask you about Johnny, because we tried to get Johnny Jones in the Hall of Fame twice, Des. And
never.
Never. You know how modest he is and how he doesn't like the spotlight, and he tries to stay in the background all the time. And finally, I said to him, Johnny, do it for all the players you coached, okay? Do it for the teams you had, because they want to see their coach in the Hall of Fame. It's not just an individual award, it's a team award. And I think I even had his wife Betty working on him, and we just never could get him to accept that honor. And he is probably, more than anyone else, the guy who has had a chance to go in the Hall of Fame twice and said, no thanks, give it to somebody else.
Yeah, no. When you talk about what he done, not only with the boys program, but with the back-to-back state championship with the girls program, that's one of one. But that's just Coach Jones. You was never going to find him in a team picture. We used to try to give him a team picture. He would run away from the camera. And even after I took over at Everett after him, we were putting a banner on the wall for him, and I had to conspire with his wife Betty to trick him to get in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Because if we'd have told him what we was doing, he wouldn't have came close to the gym. So we tricked him and got him in the gym, and he almost ran out when he seen it. But that was Coach Jones, man. So Everett is getting ready to do a special dedication to him soon. I think coming up, early this next basketball season. So definitely looking forward to that. But yeah, anything when you're trying to recognize Coach Jones, that's why I said unfortunately he had to be here for us to do it, because if he was still here, he still wouldn't be there.
As one of my defeats in life, Des, was trying to get Johnny Jones into the Hall of Fame, and it wasn't a matter of him being extended the opportunity. It was a matter of convincing him he deserved it or he should. So I'm wondering now, if he were around and he were seeing what you had done, what you had become, what you'd given back to the community, would that make him smile?
Definitely. One of our last conversations that we had, he told me he was proud of me, and that was the first time ever, and that really hit home, like one of our last conversations. So, yeah, that was tough.
Well, congratulations on another fantastic season. There are a lot of communities around the state that would love to have what you have. Hasn't happened for them the way it has here, and Greater Lansing, Mid-Michigan is the beneficiary of that. I see so many familiar faces. I see all the old-timers standing up along the railing there. And I don't know how many sessions they've seen, but some of them haven't missed many.
Yeah, we've had some people that, them early Slim years when we only had 20 people in the crowd. And we got some of those same people that was there in the early years there now, and then it makes it special, obviously.
I'll see you tomorrow night over at Holt High School.
All right, appreciate the support as always.
Desmond Ferguson, Mr. Moneyball. We're going to stay right here, Alex, and very happy to welcome in Dr. Mike Sterner from McLaren of Greater Lansing. Some of you know him as Sparty Mike, but many of you know him as one of the all-time great fans in terms of attending games. Alex, this guy has traveled all over the country watching the Detroit Lions and Michigan State. And this year, he's taken it a little further because the Lions are playing New England in Germany. And you got all your travel plans set for that, Mike?
Yeah, Jack, I have the hotel is all booked. The flights are all booked, and the PTO is taken. So, and the tickets for the Lions game are booked. So all that's left is the actual trip at this point and anticipation.
Now, your fiance going with you on this trip?
Correct, she is, yeah.
Okay.
The bulk of the trip will be for her besides the game.
Yeah. Well, she's not the biggest football fan in the world, but she's a pretty big Mike Sterner fan, right?
As far as I know, she's been with me for 7 years, so seems like it.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your weekend. And you were at Comerica Park. They'd won 2 games, Thursday and Friday, and then you showed up. What happened?
They lost the 2 games that I showed up to, Jack. And I think that was only my second and third losses I think I've experienced this season.
Okay.
I think I still have a slight winning record, but yeah, that was not a great weekend for the Tigers after what started out to be a good series early on in the first 2 games against the Royals, and man-oh-man bullpen troubles has been the story all year.
Yeah. So what did they do about that? Maybe A.J. Hinch could leave his starters in a few batters longer, maybe? That's just one idea. Is there another way to handle this? Because it's the kerosene bullpen. They just come out of the pen with carrying gas cans.
Yeah, Jack, I think you got to be creative with it. I mean, I think it's going to have to start with, if they're serious about winning, they're going to have to buy some relief pitching and bullpen guys at the end of the bullpen, because you can't continue down this path if you want to get to the postseason. And yeah, like you mentioned, you're going to have to play your starters. I know A.J. Hinch is really, like, I will even go to the point to say obsessed with the 100 pitch count.
Yes.
And he really, Saturday's game especially, Casey Mize was at 85 pitches. He was going strong, and had he left Casey Mize out there for another inning, the Tigers might have won it. But instead, it became a party for the Royals, and Salvador Perez became the all-time leading home run hitter, passing George Brett for the Royals.
I'm looking at the Tigers' statistics here now, and I believe they've pitched 26 guys this year. And most of them, the vast majority, out of the pen. And you know who their most effective relief pitcher has been?
Man, that's tough. I honestly don't know. I don't even have a good guess right now, because I think there's a few that might be up there, but
I think it's Jake Rogers.
Oh yeah, you're 100% right about that, because he has a 0 ERA.
Yeah. Yeah, and struck out the last 2 batters he faced. You believe that?
Crazy.
So when your backup catcher is your most effective relief pitcher, I understand these are mop-up situations, right? And guys are trying to hit the ball out of the state. So it's maybe it's not a true representation. But, they have tried so many guys in closer roles, and they've lost games before they've gotten to the closers. They've lost 17 games that they have led in the 7th inning or later, and that is 3 more than any other team in the major leagues. Just think where this team would be, Mike. Now, people are saying, they can just go ahead and trade everybody because they're no good, because they lost 2 games to Kansas City by a run. But they're 6 out of first place. They are 3.5 out of the wild card. A 3.5 game lead for Cleveland over Detroit can disappear in one series with these teams. So, I think this is still doable. I'm not saying the odds are in Detroit's favor, but you look at the Vegas odds of making the playoffs, and none of these teams in the American League Central have good odds.
Nope. Yeah, Jack, I agree with you. I think they can definitely still win it. I mean, as bad as the weekend was for the Tigers, they can't be far off from the best record since June 1st.
Yeah,
because that's what they had.
They're behind Boston.
Going into that, just behind Boston.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point, you just have to look at how bad May was. And so if they continue down a similar path into August and September, logic says they're probably going to be able to at least get a wild card spot. But, I mean, I know there's no guarantees, but, like, you came into this season considering this a win-now season. I don't think as president of baseball operations you can really only 3.5 games out of the playoffs sway from that. I think you have to continue to go with it. And so it'll be interesting to see. A lot of people have talked about like this hybrid buy and sell where you talk about trading Tarek Skubal and getting something for him because he very in all likelihood may not be back next year, and then just adding bullpen arms and maybe a bat or two. That I think I could see that being the most plausible situation.
Yeah, I look at what they can get out of Skubal, and again, starting pitchers these days are pitching once a week most of the time. So how many starts does he have left for the Tigers? But, if he can win 75% of those games, now you're right where you want to be. If you keep winning series, Mike, the rest of the way, and they do have games against Chicago. They do have games against the Guardians. They have opportunities here. But if you can just keep winning series, you can get back in this thing because these other teams are playing each other too.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm of the mind that you might as well try to win. I mean, I don't know what selling does for you. I can see selling Tarek Skubal, but I don't know what trading Casey Mize and Gleyber Torres and guys like that does for you. I just don't think it makes sense to do that. And so you might as well just go and try and win. And it's doable. And you might even make the postseason a game or two above 500 at this point.
I know that it's a game of money, okay, and the teams that spend more are going to have better opportunities, but some of the first-place teams now are not the biggest spenders. They're the smartest developers and managers of the payroll that they have. But I'm looking at some of these teams that every year, Mike, it's the same usual suspects who wind up selling off established players for prospects. And you know where they are 3 years later? In the same position, selling off their best players for prospects. It never changes.
That's the vicious cycle of losing, Jack. And I think at some point you have to try to win. There's this concept of developing a culture of winning, and you can't develop a culture of winning if you're literally playing to lose at the deadline every year.
All right, where would be the best landing spot for Tarek Skubal? And please don't tell me the Dodgers, because I have tickets for those games in late August, and it will absolutely kill me if Tarek Skubal throws a no-hitter against the Tigers.
If we're talking about him winning a World Series, I think it is probably the Dodgers, but I think a team I've heard the name of recently that I think wouldn't be a bad spot for him is the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah. Could you imagine if you add Skubal and you have him and Mizorowski pitching 4 games in a 7-game set? I like your chances.
Yeah, you're in a good spot with those guys as long as Mizorowski doesn't get hurt before then.
That's right. We had Denny McLain on the show earlier today, and, of course, the last 30-game winner, the only one we've had in Major League Baseball since 1945. And when you think about what he has done over the years, but he was talking about the problem with pitchers. They don't learn how to pitch. They're not developed the same way. Perfect games now, you might get one a month. And then you see guys going back to the Mickey Lolich era, and those guys were, almost every game was a complete game, I should say. Mark Fidrich, who was honored over the weekend, his wife and his daughter and grandson throughout the first pitch did a great impression of the bird. You think about when he went out to pitch, they couldn't get him out of the game. I mean, I don't know whether he was pacing himself or he just could maintain his velocity longer. But you didn't have guys coming in the 6th inning. Those guys were there, even going back to Jack Morris and Justin Verlander early in his career. You had to rip the ball out of their hands.
Yeah, Jack, I kind of wish I lived a little bit more during that era because I get so frustrated with the pitch count and everything, and I get with how hard they're throwing and all this stuff. But, man, oh, man, like I see stuff like the thing I saw with Mize on Saturday, and it just makes me want to pull my hair out and, analytics this, analytics that. I mean, I think there's a place for analytics. I'm 100% not an anti-analytics person, but at a certain point, like, analytics lacks context sometimes, and then at the same time, your best players should just be playing. Like if you got a hot hand, let them play. No,
sure.
Analytics can't measure that.
Right, exactly. Mike, are you going to be down at the Lions training camp for their first public? I'm guessing you are. That's this weekend, right?
Yeah, I'll be down there. They have like a season ticket member exclusive one on Sunday, so I'll be down there for that. Looking forward to it. I have for like one of the VIP tents, so there's like breakfast and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then a tent over us in the hot weather, which is nice.
Alex, how did I know the guy who's going to Germany would find his way to the first public Lions display of the season? Mike, thanks so much for joining us, and we're not going to blame you entirely for those 2 losses.
Thanks, Jack.
Want to thank all of our guests today, Alex, starting with Carson Cooper, 4 years with Michigan State, and now Memphis Grizzlies, and they seem very happy to have him in the organization. Not sure what role he will have or where he will start the season, but I think you're going to be seeing Carson Cooper playing pro basketball. Bob Tripi, our Director of Research, Captain Database, long time, a State of Michigan sports writer, and covers it all, including the Tigers over the weekend. Denny McLain, and he had a tremendous start with the Tigers. He just could have continued what he did up to age 25. He would have been in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Didn't work out that way for a number of reasons. Desmond Ferguson, Mr. Moneyball. Don't forget Moneyball action Tuesday and Thursday, the playoffs at Holt High School, and Dr. Mike Sterner, super fan of all Detroit Pro teams and Michigan State. We'll see you tomorrow.